Well, it all started in 1970 with this original Raven P25 25 caliber ACP pocket pistol. If you watched our video on the Ring of Fire firearms, you know that in 1970 George Jennings saw a gap in the market that was created by the 1968 Gun Control Act. The GCA banned the importation of small and expensive pocket pistols. So George decided to change his aerospace parts manufacturing company into a firearms manufacturer. He invented the 25 caliber P25 based on Browning's vest pocket pistol and started what would become a very large lineage of inexpensive pistols that are the focus of many anti-gun people and unfortunately many pro-gun people. And for lots of these reasons, as I started to research these, I became more and more interested and eager to collect them. Because there's so many, I decided to stick with George Jennings' son Bruce's side of the tree and stick with the 22 calibers, which seem to be the easiest to acquire and the least expensive. But we're going to talk about my collection as well as the reasons why I collect them. So let's take a look. Now we're looking at basically 11 flavors of the J-22, and I believe a very complete collection. I'm missing one over here we'll talk about when we get to it. But let's go around and talk about the various pistols, and in the process we'll explain some of the reasons why I collect them. Let's start out with the granddaddy, the P25. This is a 25 ACP. Now this one's made at the Baldwin Park factory, and that only lasted for about 3 years. Then they moved to City of Industry. The reason that's important is that's where the first J-22 comes around. So this is a J-22 made in Industry, or City of Industry, California. California's written out. We see that there's a pirate, and it says Jennings Firearms, Inc. We've got a slide safety. We've got the serial number on the back of the frame, and it's marked model J-22. 22 caliber long rifles, all written out. Now this one's in like a chrome with wood grips, and I'm not certain if this original version came in a different style or not. But this one is one of the most rare. I've really only seen one of these so far. Now most of the original Jennings J-22s came from this, or more like this one, they came from Chino, California. Now again, California is written out. We see the pirate, Jennings Firearms, Inc. We still have the slide safety, serial number on the back, still marked model J-22, everything written out. Difference on this one is this one has a black finish with what we call the black checkered grip. Now I don't have too many duplicates, but this one's sort of a duplicate. It's exactly the same as far as the markings and the mechanics, it's just that this one's in chrome with a wood grip. Now looking at this one, you might think, well, that's exactly the same. We got the pirate logo, we have Jennings Firearms Inc., we have the slide safety, Chino, California, marked model J-22. However, the difference here as a collector is we see that it's marked Calwestco on the back of the frame, along with the serial number. If we look back at the family tree, we see that in 1985, Jennings Firearms sort of merged into Calwestco, and we go into that more detail in the original Ring of Fire video. But what we think as collectors is that they were using up their parts from that original factory, or from that original Jennings Firearms, and they had to mark them Calwestco, so they did it on the frame as an afterthought. Now once they used up all those parts, they retooled, and now the frames have the pirate logo, Jennings Firearms Inc., but now they say by Calwestco, Chino, California. We now see California is abbreviated. We still have the slide safety, we have the serial number on the back, and they're still marked model J-25. 22 long rifle, all written out. Again, another similar one, but I have this one intentionally. Again, marked all the same. The only real difference here is we have the black checkered grip and the black finish. The reason I have this one in the collection, though, is to compare with this one, which is also Calwestco, but notice now it's Irvine, California, as opposed to Chino. So they moved factories. When they did that, they changed the grip style. They also changed the safety from the slide safety to the switch. We still have now we have the serial number on the frame here, and it's now marked Jennings J-22. 22 long rifle is no longer written out. So that was one of the first major changes in the style and mechanics of the pistol. Later we have, again, one of my most rare pieces in the collection. This one's marked Calwestco, again Irvine, California, but no Jennings Pirate, no Jennings Firearms Inc. on this side it is marked Jennings J-22, 22 long rifle abbreviated, and our serial number is on the back of the frame there. Now jumping back to the family tree, we'll jump over to the daughter's side. So George's daughter and her husband, which was one of the guys that worked at Raven Arms, started Davis Industries. His brother John had worked at Raven Arms, moved over to Davis Industries, but in 1987 decided to start his own company called Sedco, and he built a .22 caliber pistol that was designed to compete with the Jennings pistol. He was sued out of existence in just a year by both his brother and the family. However, I think it's worth having it in the collection. And here's a Sedco SP-22. Now you can see some similarities there. The only differences I see on the outside of the safety is a little bit different. Its shape, of course, and then it uses a channel size or channel type sight. Inherently unreliable, but again, it has a place in this collection only because of its involvement with the family. Going back to the family tree, we see that in 1989, Calwestco kind of merged to become Bryco Arms, and again we go into more detail on that on the big video. But mechanically, we see that the Jennings Firearms Inc. by Calwestco in Irvine, California, and this Jennings Firearms, no more Inc., by Bryco, Irvine, California, are very, very similar. They both have the same safeties, they both have the same grips, and they're both marked Jennings J-22 with .22 long rifle, abbreviated. I should mention too that in all this time they've always had a cocking indicator in the back, which is basically just a pin that you can see through the hole there. The reason I bring that up is the next one in the line we see is Bryco Arms. They moved to Costa, Mesa, California. They dropped the Jennings Pirate and the Jennings Firearms. Still have the slide safety, the same grips, serial number on the back, marked Jennings J-22-CA on this one, and this one has a bright orange cocking indicator. They basically just opened up the hole and put a little rubber thing around the pin. Makes it a little easier to see, and I believe that was a requirement in California at the time. Jumping back to the family tree, we see that in 2004, Bryco Arms was sued out of existence with a $24 million lawsuit. Again, we go into more detail on that in the big video, but that resulted in the company being sold to Jimenez Arms, again, Costa Mesa, California, just like the Bryco. In fact, these firearms are almost identical except for the engraving on the slide. It went from a Jennings J-22 to a JA-22. Now, they were originally in Costa Mesa, California. We mentioned the lawsuit that put Bryco out of business. That same lawyer kept after the company and eventually just ran them out of California. They went to Nevada. I talked about missing one. That's one that's marked Henderson, Nevada. I don't have that one yet, but this is the final result. Jimenez Arms marked Las Vegas, Nevada, and again, JA-22. So this is the most modern version of the J-22s and available, on Gunbroker at some stores. You're going to pay about $120 for these or so. And then finally, a culmination of the collection. We started with the Raven P25. Now there were 4 models of the Raven until 1991 when the factory burned down. Because of the fire, they started a new company called Phoenix, and Phoenix originally made a Raven model for a few years and then switched over to make a .22 caliber version called the HP-22. And if we look at them, you can see some differences, but you can also see some similarities here. So we start off with the granddaddy. We end up with, I guess, a younger cousin to that original Jennings J-22, and we have the HP-22. So I've talked a little bit about the reasons why I collect these and shown you some of the different examples here. I hope that I've encouraged at least someone out there to think about firearms collecting. Whether or not you like these little cheap junk guns, that's up to you. But there's lots of stuff to experience out there in the world of firearms collecting, and I definitely encourage you to at least look into it, if not sink a little money into it. Now for me, I sold a couple of high-end handguns that I never used too much to buy this collection, and I'm not at all disappointed in that. I've had a lot of fun acquiring these. I've met a lot of new friends that collect these as well, and I'm really enjoying it. So we're having a lot of fun shooting these and playing with them and researching them. Hope this has been an interesting video. We look forward to the discussion in the comments. As always, thanks for watching.
The guys and gals of GunWebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class every year, practice at least once a month, and carry every day. Thanks for watching GunWebsites.com.